Good afternoon, Facebook. This is Teresa B coming to you from Amplified Exposure Live. Today I have my guest, Jimmy Gary Jr. He is ex-football player turned movie star, and we're going to talk to him today about how that all got started. And he came on today to my show because he likes me. So, thank you all for tuning in today. How are you, Mr. Gary?
I am blessed and highly favored. I'm
All
grateful.
right. All right. And if we have any Ellises out there on my daddy's side, y'all see he looking like he related, right? He looking like he could be a cousin. Just saying.
Could could be.
Could be. Could be. So,
Cuz.
cuz I know, right?
Right.
So let's get started. Tell the audience. You
hmm
started in football.
hmm
Did you go straight from college into the NFL? How did that all get started for you?
Well, there's a process. It starts out in Pee Wee football for some people, like myself. You start very young, and NFL is the idea. You know, uh, you have your players that you admire and you want to be like. And for me, it was Jim Brown. I love Jim Brown, Tony Dorsett, those guys like that. And I just played and had fun. And by the time my senior year came around, I was being recruited by basically 90% of the Division I schools in the country. And I got a lot of awards. I got some awards. I was the number one speed back in the country. So that was that was a great opportunity for me. I ended up going to West Virginia University. I had a great time there, and I got injured at West Virginia. I hurt my knee in '93, but I came back, healthy in '94, '95, and I was blessed to go and play for the Seattle Seahawks. I had a very, very short career, but I wore the jersey. I played, and I'm very happy about that. And so I decided, because of Jim Brown, I decided to go back to West Virginia and enter into the BFA acting program at West Virginia University. So I actually studied acting for a little bit. And then I was cast in my first movie called Better Days in New York, and the rest is history.
And the rest is history.
Yep.
Wow. So, NFL star, as you say briefly, but hey,
hmm
people don't even get it a smidgen. So